Hey, My House Deals Tribe. This is Alex. I'm president of My House Deals, and today we're talking to Jeff in Houston. Jeff is a premium member of My House Deals, and he just bought a house that he's currently flipping. He's expecting to turn a profit of $40,000 on this flip. He's doing a major rehab on the house. It's a two-bedroom, one-bedroom pier and beam house in the Houston area. And today we talked about the process that Jeff went through to find this property on My House Deals, how he went about engaging contractors and determining the scope of the project. This is the biggest project he's ever taken on. So it was a really exciting conversation you don't want to miss out on. In addition, we talk about Jeff's ability to streamline his business. He's actually outsourcing a lot of this. So he's not the one looking for properties and putting in the work into the property. We talked about private money as a funding source for deals. And we talked about the benefits of holding rentals versus turning flips. So take a listen. You won't want to miss this. And thank you for being here. Jeff, it's really nice talking to you today. Thank you for joining me. One of my favorite things to do is actually to get together with other investors, other members of My House Deals, and understand how they're using the platform to grow their business, what kind of deals they're making, and just learn a little bit more about your journey to get to this particular deal. So to kick us off, for everyone watching us, can you tell us a little bit about you and your investing journey so far?
So I guess I started about 5 or 6 years ago, started renting out my first house when we moved into this house that I live in now. And so that was my first landlord experience. I found a house, another one shortly after that. So then I refinanced that rental, pulled some cash out, bought another rental. So then I was a landlord of two deals. I tried my hand at wholesaling and failed. I'm not good at wholesaling. And so I did that for about a year, and then tried lending. I was a hard money lender for about 2 years, which it was good. And I got to see how the other side of a transaction, and it was good because I'm a W-2 employee. I liked it was cash flow with my rentals, and I did not have to be involved. But I also got to see how these rehabbers can make a good bit of money. They're finding good deals, and then also, some of the negative sides of it too, but mostly very positive. So finally, I decided last year I was going to buy another rental. So yeah, I bought one in January. I bought a property, and then I bought another one in March. And I think we all know what happened
And
last
then all
March.
hell broke loose.
Yes. So what happened there is when I purchased it, I got a little cold feet. So full disclosure, I had purchased this thing as a rental. And right after, and I'll use my private money guy, I'll partner with him as a lender. And I got cold feet on finding another tenant. My tenants were very, very good. I do a good background due diligence. But I said, I don't want to risk that with this moratorium. I'm going to flip this. I'd never done a flip. It was incredibly easy, and I got over my asking price. And I thought, I think I'm addicted to this. So I immediately started looking some more. And, I'm up to 4 or 5 rentals now. We just sold one last week here in Klein. And you're in Houston, so you understand the Klein market.
Yep.
It's crazy. And so we touched it up, cosmetic, paint, granite, and it was a bidding war. So that was nice. So I'm on the hunt for some more rehabs, and which leads me to this deal I found. It was very extensive. That's what I wanted. I want to get into something more than just cosmetic. That I've never done. It was really kind of getting out of my comfort zone, but it was small enough that any mistakes, it's a forgiving market, as you know, and any mistakes, it's such a small property that I can I'd be able to maneuver, and then it's still small enough I can refinance and rent it if I need to. So I've got multiple exit strategies.
Nice. And I want to get into that deal, but before we do that, I just have a follow-up here from your story that you just shared with us. Was it always your goal to become a real estate investor, to build a rental portfolio, or it sounds like you kind of just fell into that and decided to pursue that path once it started working out for you? Can you talk?
No, I really like the real estate. However, and I will tell you, I've really, for all my time in investing, I wanted to grow this massive rental portfolio. That's what I really wanted, that passive cash flow, that retirement type of deal.
Yep.
However, it was the COVID pivot, and
Yeah.
I got a taste of that rehab, and then I just got another taste of it. And I'm looking at my board of the projects that I have, and I've got a taste of it. It
Yeah.
is.
That's great. And it doesn't mean that you have to do one thing or the other, right? And that's what I want to highlight, because the pivot here is really important. And as creative real estate investors, we have to know where the market is going and where the opportunity is. And we have to pivot accordingly, right? Because sometimes we run into that thing where investors get really comfortable doing just that one thing and they're good at it and there's no reason why they would change. But if you're not attuned to the market and what it's doing, it may just not be the best bet for you at that moment. Doesn't mean that you can't still do that or come back to it some other time, but you went with what the market was asking for, given COVID and the pandemic and all that, right?
Correct. And I will tell you, I like being a landlord. I like being providing a good service, a good product, having that monthly check. That I've heard many nightmare stories. I've had a couple of bad situations, and I tell anybody, you need to get into this, because nothing has scared me away from it. But to your point, adapt, right? Now's the time to cash out. I assure you, I will get more rentals. Like this property in Conroe might turn into one. It just depends on how the rehab comes out and how many buyers I get. I'm already getting lots of bites, and it's not even done yet.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about this deal. How long have you been a premium member of MyHouseDeals for?
I guess a few months. I have a VA who goes and combs it, and I wanted him to have as much access as possible.
Yeah. And did you sign up thinking, I'm looking for my next flip?
Yes, 100%.
And
well, two things. I have two different criteria, and it will be, based on cash flow and based on profit potential.
Sure. Depending on whether your strategy is going to be to rent or to flip.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
How long, do you remember how long you remember how many properties you considered on the website before you found this one that you ended up buying?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a daily process for you and your VA?
Well, me, for him probably, but it's I have criteria. It's all into a spreadsheet. He enters it. And mine's not going to be the same as somebody else's. And I think that's important, because, my neighbor flips and he has a profit minimum. Mm-hmm. And then I'm different. We talk about it and how his is a little bit different than mine. And that's fine. Everybody's going to have a very different criteria. So yeah, we did go through a lot. And then the next aspect is how many did I go see? And so then that was a bunch. And then you put your bids in. So it's a process, the deals aren't falling in your laps.
Right. And you have to go after them. And I'm also sure that we're going to get into this now, but I'm also sure it wasn't exactly the asking price. That wasn't exactly what you needed. The ARV perhaps wasn't exactly what you calculated for it to be. So there's also a back and forth with the seller that you're going to have to go through in order to arrive at a deal that works for you with your numbers,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So when you saw this particular deal, what about it called out to you that made you think, okay, I'm going to go after this one. There's potential here.
So a few things, like I said, it was a full rehab. We're talking foundation, siding, soup to nuts,
Yeah.
everything except for the roof.
And what a lot of investors would run away from that, right? What made you want to say, no, this is exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I'm going to target.
Because everybody is running away. I've done like 4 deals already where it's like paint, put some recessed lighting, and do all. So everybody's looking for that. So if
Actually,
I can be the guy that these wholesalers say this place is a dumpster fire, I know that Jeff will take it, and they call me first, then I'll be first on the list, and that's what I'm going after.
yeah, and by
That's my
doing
niche
that, you're
that I want.
removing a lot of competition, right? Because
Yes,
not a lot of people are going to be going after those deals. And because of that, you'll be in a much stronger position to negotiate.
right, right.
So this was, tell us a little bit about the property. How many bedrooms, in what condition, and what was your vision for it when you first went
Mm.
into it?
So, like I said, foundation problem, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 996 square feet, but it's on a quarter acre, and is zip code Magnolia. Technically, it's like Conroe. It's right off of 105, across from Lake Conroe, and it's like 2 houses away from the lake. I mean,
Right.
the neighborhood itself, like when you go into this little community, it's almost like this little fishing, boating village. So it's got this really cool feel.
Mhm.
And so, I drag my wife along with me to some of these deals I want to go see, and she's just,
Loving every minute of it.
she is, yeah, that's where the true testament of our marriage is. So she took like 2 steps into it, but she said, the land in the area is going to sell it. And I was like, sweet, I got a green light. Let's let's do this. And that's exactly the situation. Is the area around it is location on this situation. My vision is just to make it like a really cute little villa
Mhm.
or bungalow. It's just gonna, with the new siding, I'm gonna paint it a cool light green with the white trim. I'm gonna put a gravel driveway. It's got a little porch, and the recessed lighting, granite, the whole nine. It's gonna be HGTV style.
Nice.
I
So
mean, they're not gonna recognize it. I got a phone call today from a guy. He said, "I'm seeing the activity, and I want to buy the house for my daughter." And
that's
I said, all
awesome.
right,
That's
yeah,
the best kind of deal you can make, right? Then
yeah,
if that happens, then you have no marketing cost. You're moving off the market immediately.
yeah.
Um, that's awesome. So can you walk us through the numbers? How much were they asking for it? How much do you end up getting it for, and do you plan to put into it? And what do you think it's going to be the resale value?
They wanted 80. I got it for 70. So that is different about this market because most everything's going bidding war.
Yeah.
But to your point, this was a bit of a situation of a house, and they weren't getting a whole lot of buyers.
What tools did you use to discount that price? Did you rely on your own research? Was it based on your inspection? Tell us a little bit about that process.
Correct. I went in and said, look, man, this is going to be this much. And I actually had a foundation guy go and say, hey,
Mhm.
dude, I've never done a foundation. How much is this going to be? And so I use that as leverage to say, you're saying the ARV is this much. You can't even pull comps because it
Mhm.
doesn't justify.
Right.
Let's meet in the middle here because it's like the thing is a roller coaster when you walk inside. So really, same thing the wholesalers do to the sellers. Like, man, this is going to be really tough.
Yeah.
And they said we can get it to 70. I said, okay. I wanted it for 60.
Okay.
Normally, I would not push that hard because I think wholesalers work very hard, and they deserve every penny. Maybe not every penny. They deserve a lot of their assignment fees. And I think everybody needs to make money.
Yeah, it needs to be a win-win-win, right?
I want it to be a win-win because, hey man, it was a successful close. As soon as we shook hands, we closed in 2 days. That is
Nice,
a true story. Yeah.
nice,
I told them, hey man, you're not going to wait on me for anything. We'll close.
nice. And so you contacted them via My House Deals. That negotiation process was pretty quick, it sounds like. And you said did you say you used private money for this?
Yes.
I love that you're using private money to fund your transactions. Is that a relationship that you've nurtured over the last 4 or 5 years? And
It is.
how do you work with your private lenders? Is it a straight transactional funding type of interest on the money? Are you bringing them into the deal? Do you mind talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he is it's really just one lender primarily, but I know he does a lot of deals. It's all he does. And we've just done deals together on both sides. We're partnered on one in by U of H,
Mhm.
where like I have a 50% equity kick and I'm a lender on that. But usually it's like, hey, here's the deal. Here's what I see the ARV. Here's the cost with my estimate. Here, he needs the contract and the title commitment. And then we go from there. Once it all checks out for him and he's protected with title and the insurance, he's a businessman. He gets his points and he gets his interest, right? 10.5%. I keep him updated throughout the process. I keep him updated on the process of the project. He holds back repair escrow, which is fair, and he gets his money. And I think he knows is safe with me. I'm a safe bet, if you would.
Yeah.
He'll get his interest payments, and my goal is to complete the project and get his principal back to him.
That's right. Fantastic. And so with that, you're funding the purchase. You're also funding the rehab with him.
Yes.
How much are you in for the rehab?
So I'm a little bit over. In fact, I talked with him yesterday. I said I'm trending to be about $5,000 over. And he laughed. He said, I told you that when you sent me the budget. He said, you've never done a full remodel. He said, there's always uh-ohs.
And especially right now, because it's not all just a competitive retail market. It's a really competitive market for contractors right now.
Well, it's that and the building materials are
Yep.
killing me. And we ripped off the siding and there was a bunch of, wood rot on the bottom. We had to replace a bunch of 2x4s.
Yeah.
So, and that part's on me and that's fine, and I adjusted for that and I'm okay with it. So I budgeted 14 grand. I think I'll come out at 20. That's what I'm trending. Part of the increase is that I decided to change all the windows. So that was an increase in cost.
Yeah.
But well worth it. It's going to make the whole property pop.
Yeah.
It's going to make it look fantastic.
And so you got it for 70, let's say 20 on the repairs. You're in for 90.
And I was funded 91.
So you're fully funded on that. What do you expect to sell it for?
I've had 3 verbal offers at 125.
Okay. And so
I think I'm going to get aggressive if I don't get a contract before I finish, because these people have seen it in its kind of destructive state right now. The stuff's all in the front. There's no floors. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
They want it at 125. I think I'm going to get aggressive and list it for 140, thinking I can get 130.
So you're expecting a 40 to 50,000 profit margin there, which is great. Fantastic. For what turnaround time? When do you think you're going to be done with the project?
In fact, I just had the conversation with the guy. He asked, and I said, I really think I'll be done, the week of May 3rd. That's kind of how I see it. Weather delays aren't awesome, obviously. Yep. That's just how it's looking. They were starting the interior paint yesterday. I'll drive over there tomorrow. I got a couple more pieces of material to bring them, but everything has been purchased. I really think by that week of the May 3rd, it should be done.
That's great. So you're just a few weeks away. You said you've already received 3 verbal offers. Are you actively advertising it, or is this just from people driving by, neighbors, that type of thing?
I put no picture on Zillow, coming soon. I wouldn't
That's
call it
great.
actively, just hey, coming soon, this, a little description. It'll have new floors, new lighting, and granite countertops. This is what the house is,
Yeah,
you know.
that's great, especially for such a competitive market, right? Because as you said, right now, things don't stay on the market for long. We're dealing with bidding wars. So there's a huge demand for inventory. And if you can get ahead, and time is money in this business. So anytime you have the property sitting there, if you're done with it and it's not sold, that's holding costs that you're incurring, right?
That's what I
So
do now. I don't want any holding costs.
exactly. So the more you can minimize that, the better off you'll be. That's just going to be profit for you later. So start advertising the property as it's still being built. Put up a yard sign. Your neighbors, like you said, they have family. They might want to move into the neighborhood. That's a great idea. So from your experience working with contractors on a larger scale project like this, what have you learned that's been different from working on these more paint and carpet and done types of deals?
Yeah. Um, I think it's more learning about the job itself, like uncovering things, and I'm learning what there is. I mean, I've never owned a pier and beam house. So to see the floors ripped up and you see into the ground, like
Yep.
that's something else. I took my 2 sons and I was like, check it out, guys. This is this is pretty cool, right? So I had like the foundation guys, and then I had my lead contractor who I trust. So after they were done, I had him come out like, all right, you ready to start everything? And he said, you get he was kind of my eyes and ears saying they need to come back out because of this, and the other factor. So, because I don't know what to look for, right? You got to have somebody that you trust on some kind of big job like that where I can look for those things. I think it's more finding out what I don't know. I didn't purchase a lot of wood on those other jobs. Wood is freaking expensive.
It's really expensive right now.
I thought paint was expensive. Wood's freaking expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to highlight that because I think you're taking the right approach here, which is you don't know what you don't know, but you're relying on the opinion of experts, right? So you're bringing in the people who would know better. They have more experience doing that to guide the process for you, which is going to avoid a lot of headache for you later because those are the things they're good at. And I think sometimes new investors, especially new flippers, sometimes they get into mindset of, I have to do everything. I have to make all the calls. And that can do 2 things. It can really stretch out a project, which is going to cost you more money. And it also can get you into some pitfalls because you just don't have the expertise sometimes. So that's a great tip for our members.
I will say this: I guess I'm blessed in the fact that I am not a know-it-all or a do-it-all, especially not a do-it-all. I'm a big believer in outsourcing. So because and I just picked up what I am hoping is another crew, and I'm looking forward to getting another deal where I can try them out, and so then I can do another project. And so I've got the funding lined up, and then hopefully another good crew that I think I like, and I think they're trustworthy. So I want to put them to the chest because I can tell this guy's he's stretched thin. He does good work.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and the good guys, they don't stay idle for long. So you got to keep them busy if you want to keep them around.
yes.
Yeah.
There's a geography thing as well, right? So this other crew, I think I could probably do if I got some properties down in Pasadena, LaPorte area, because that's kind of their home base. So that's kind of my mindset is I can do some geography meandering.
that brings me to my next question, which is what's next for you? What are some of the goals that you're trying to reach when it comes to real estate? Do you want to continue to diversify your portfolio? Do you want to move more into flips? Is there a number of deals or a number of doors that you're looking to hold? Tell us more about that.
So yeah, my path is right now I'm liquidating. So I'm trying to get cash heavy, and then I will acquire more rentals as I see fit. And I really want to get into that small multifamily area. That small, uh, I've looked into the multifamily. I've been to the syndication seminars,
Yeah.
which are very hoorah. I don't think I want to syndicate. I don't think that's anything that I'm interested in, but I think I have the X amount of financing from a bank. And if I have the right amount of liquidity, I can come up with the remaining balance and then have the resources, meaning a crew, a management company to manage those, 6 to 50 unit complexes that the big syndicators don't want. So that's the direction I'm going.
Yeah.
And then I also think that there's even further down, I think those are deals that typically will get seller financed. And I'd be happy to sell those with a budding investor.
I love it. Have you done any seller financing deals?
I would say so. Last year, my full intention was to seller finance all these rentals.
Yeah.
But there's just way too much equity to
Yeah.
in these rentals to do that. But yeah, I'm very interested in the owner finance. This deal in Conroe might be an ideal situation for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes up, I'm going to take advantage and I will try that owner finance. I'm very interested in that model.
There's huge opportunity there, especially if you already have some liquidity built in. So yeah, definitely explore that avenue. Is part of the plan to build that liquidity to get to those apartment complexes, multifamily, to continue to do some more single family flips to add to your funds?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Are you currently, you mentioned a few deals that you have in flight right now. Are you looking to buy another one in the next couple months?
I am in acquisition mode.
Nice.
I'm in full acquisition mode.
All right. I love the speed. It's all about momentum.
I will tell anybody who's listening that it's like, man, once you get a base hit, and really two, that momentum will just go.
That's right. I always say the first deal is the hardest. It gets better from there. What is your advice for investors who are getting started, who are in the position you were 5 years ago, who are getting started? They don't really.
My advice is, man, I'm looking back now and at almost, I wish I could remember all the ones that I thought, no, I'm not going to buy this right now. I'm not going, because my goal 5 and 6 years ago was to buy 2 rentals a year. And if I had done that, I'd have 10 freaking properties to liquidate right now.
Yeah.
And so just have something in mind. I don't know why I stopped, right? I bought 2 that year and that's what I'm liquidating. Now I have 3 other ones for various, because I bought 2 last year. So don't slow down. Like I'm telling you from personal experience, the 5-year plan works. And
even if you're taking little steps every day, right? But I think action is key.
Oh, you got to take action.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of some hiccups, because I have made some boo-boos. I've made some boo-boos, but it's hard to really mess up in this business. It's very forgiving.
Yeah, especially right now.
Yeah, I just bought a dumpster fire of a house, and I'm gonna come out okay.
That's fantastic. Hey, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for being a member of our tribe. We're really excited that you're on MyHouseDeals looking for deals. You have your team looking for deals for you, and that you're turning those leads that we're sending your way into deals who will then become profit. So that's what we're all about. That's what the game is all about. And I'm really excited for you. So it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Yeah, it's been fun.
All right.
Looking forward to the next one, man.
Hey, let me know about the next one and the next one and the next one after that. That's the cherry on top of what we do is hearing
Yeah,
from investors like you who are making this happen, and that makes all the difference for us.
yeah, yeah. It is a grind. You got to find those deals.
You
But
do.
I think finding, identifying your parameters really helps because I can sift through, nope, 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 nope. And then there's might be out of 20, you might have 5 that are maybes.
Yep,
And then if you have 5 maybes a day, then
that's
you
right.
might only have one solid a week, and you got to try and get that one a week. So that's
And at that point, when you have it all systemized like that, it's just a numbers game, right? You know that however many you have flowing through your pipeline, you can expect to end up with 1 or 2 or 3 actionable deals that you're going to pursue and actually engage in conversation with the seller
mhm,
and turn into a transaction. So that's
right.
fantastic. All
Yeah.
right, we did it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.